Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr versus Benn. 30 years of rivalry and hatred.
I do hate him.
All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr versus Benn, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. This is take two after about 3 minutes because Sonny has got two Gibraltar boxers that he's flown in. They're going down to Steel City this week and they FaceTimed him because the Uber was not ready. So we started, it kind of ruined the flow. We're going to blame them on the record. Only joking. But Sonny's ADHD, fair play to him, sorted him out with the Uber. But we are ready to go. How are we, geez?
Yeah, big shout out to them. Big shout out to them. They both went 1-0 a couple of weeks back when I was over with Iman Zatmakesh fighting in Gibraltar. So
Big up Gibraltar's boxing.
Yeah, now paying the I don't know what's the courtesy of. You know, they hosted me in Gibraltar, now it's time for me to host them in Sheffield.
Well, you are hosting me currently at your gaff. We've had a side quest of a morning. I was up at 4, you were up at 7. We both were like, Jesus, this is an early start. Mine really, really was an early start. We're playing snooker with Ken Doherty this morning for Small Talk, which everyone will be able to tune in and see on Saturday. Or not, for the Twitter trolls out there. Then we went for a bit of breakfast, and now we're just sat here chilling. You're on the Co-op Sweet Scran, having a little chit-chat.
Yeah. Happy Wednesday. It's fight week.
Happy Wednesday. It is fight
I'm
week.
really just killing time until Giorgio gets here, you know what I mean?
Until Giorgio gets here?
My proper mates.
Oh, right, come. What, is he coming to the gaff, is he?
No, my proper mates get to Sheffield.
Yeah. Just ready to kick me out when Giorgio
then I'll see you at Small Talk when we start filming.
Yeah, then you kind of just got to fake it till you make it. What about when Oscar Bevis comes? Is that similar standard?
That's the only reason I still keep in contact, really.
Fairs.
Yeah.
Just
shout out OB.
Shout out OB, the boy. Let's go straight into it, and I'm a little bit conscious that as of us talking about this now, something may have happened, because Lee Eaton has put out a little eyeball emoji, which kind of makes me think, gives me a bit of an inkling. I'm going to be refreshing Twitter as, you know, throughout this interview. But as of right now, 1:30 on Wednesday afternoon, the fight was signed for 12. Boxer wanted it to be 10. Ben Shalom did an interview with Oscar about 2 weeks ago saying it's a mistake, it's all sorted. Frank Warren then came out on TalkSport and various other outlets saying it wasn't sorted. Lee Eaton did interviews last night saying it is not sorted. So what's your take on this whole thing initially? You manage fighters. Where would your head be at right now? Both parties, please.
Well, it depends at what part of who you're talking about, what role you are in each party and what team. As the away fighter dealing with the promoter of the home fighter, they give you a 12-fight contract and it suits you, you sign it. Your contract separate to what any other contract they've ever done, including your opponent's contract. They're not retrospective of each other. Is if they put a contract in front of you, they have to adhere to it, and to change it can most likely cost you. I don't know to where they are at in the conversation. It's a bit of an oversight, to say the least, that can put the promoter in a predicament of now having to deal with another conversation, and it shed like maybe a negative light potentially on the home fighter with the questions, well, why not a 12? You know what I mean? And having to sort of defend that. I haven't really seen anything from Ben.
I was going to say, will Ben want to fight 12?
If he wanted to fight 12, they would have just done 12. It would have saved everyone a lot of money at the last stage.
So you believe... Because could this not technically be... I saw Ben Shalom say, no, look, Ben will fight 12, but it's on us. You know, we want this fight to be 10.
I doubt it. I know that's what Ben Shalom's saying, but obviously he made the mistake to put... Well, I say him, not him technically. Whoever
his team
dealt with that contract and copy and pasted the 12 came over, because they've obligated themselves to a professional contract with a professional boxer that says 12. It's not what you say over the phone or in text. It's what gets written on a piece of paper and signed to. That's what boxing is. And if the Whittaker camp, in the midst of all of this, at any point just went, we'll do 12, Ben was no longer having to dig himself out of a hole, because, okay, sweet, it's a 12-round fight. But it could have went one or two ways. Only either Ben came up to 12, Liam dropped down to 10. Now, Liam probably weren't going to drop down to 10 for free. Ben could have went up to 12 and got more. I don't think we'll be going up. And I think it would be, especially with how the first fight went, I think it would be reckless, to say the least, for a fighter that's not really shown it at 10 rounds at a decent level to show it at 12. You'd think would be a harder task, should be a harder task. But yeah, I don't know the conclusion as of yet. Nothing's come out. Obviously, it has been the centre of talk, which kind of makes it like the silver lining.
It's actually sold the fight quite well.
Of course it has, and the silver lining is that's definitely what it does. But yeah, you could see why, if I was Liam Cameron, I would want 12 rounds, with how the first fight went, and where your career's at compared to where Ben's is at.
If you are Liam Cameron, Lee Eaton and Queensberry right now, you're probably content. Well, you're very content, obviously, to fight 12. You've signed for 12. You're probably content to, fight 10. You've trained for 12. Is it a matter of getting your fair share? So getting an amount that is fair enough to make up for... If you put yourself in, I suppose...
they're paying for the mistake. That's what happens in boxing sometimes. If you make a mistake...
Is this a big fee? I'm talking to you from a management. I don't understand. Picking your brain, if you're Lee Eaton there, what is this a substantial fee? Ben Shalom said it is an expensive mistake.
I'd be asking for 100.
Really?
In this, if I was, I would. Because I would want the 12, so I'd want... If I was Liam, I'd want the 12. So you'd want to put them in a position where going up to 12 is easier than paying the penalty. Unfortunately, that is just the business we're in. And when you put yourself in it, it had to be rectified because the fight had to get delivered. Do you know what I mean? And if it didn't happen because of the round dispute, someone's getting sued. You know what I mean? Like someone somewhere, that's how that's getting resolved. It's not, okay, we just gonna walk away. Nah, I'm in camp, I signed this fight, I was expected to get this earnings, and it says 12 rounds on there, so I've done everything legally obligated to me.
Hypothetically talking, if come Sunday night, it's all not sorted still, and it's a matter of boxer saying it's 10, Cameron's team saying nah, it's 12. Could it seriously mean, like, as much as Liam would want to fight, his team for his own good and also for kind of damages and the reason why you have contracts in place would go, nah, don't fight? Would you tell your fighter not to fight if it not been resolved by fight night? If
after all of this they haven't made an agreement and it gets to fight week, I would be absolutely making sure that the fight was happening over 12. If it hasn't been agreed before now on my piece of paper for my fight, it says 12 rounds, and we want to do 12 rounds, we're doing 12 rounds.
Ben Shalom said an expensive mistake, but one that's not been rectified as of 5 days away.
No, I think from what I'm gathering, they've agreed terms, but no paper has been signed.
Not one, but so a contract's not even been given.
Yeah, but I think in boxing, and especially some corners in boxing more than others, things just take more time. I'll be real. I think behind the scenes things just take longer than they should. Maybe something that should get knocked up within an hour, if you had a dedicated person dealing with this that had the capabilities of writing up a contract for you to look at, potentially sign with a couple of points to adjust back and forward. You should be able to do it in an hour, a couple of hours a day tops. But if you haven't got that and you're, you know, waiting for someone that you're part of their work schedule, and it might be 3-4 days, or they might work only 1 day a week, or you're waiting days
I can't
at a
imagine
time.
that being the case here, though.
You can't
You'd have
imagine
Queensbury and boxer lawyers on hand, right?
Yeah, but I don't think in them terms, from some of the promoters, the teams they're not like full time. Do you know what I mean? They're people that work in the industry and pick up what they need to do that day. I think in some places you haven't got full time dedicated. Their 24/7 job is regarding just boxing contracts or whatever's going on around it. And I think sometimes certain promoters, that every conversation will take more like 5-7 business days, where others you can get it resolved within 24 hours from the moment of an offer coming in to the negotiation changes to the contract to the adjustment of the contract and to signing it. Some promoters do it in 24 hours, and I think that's what behind the scenes has usually stood out for certain promoters and why they've done better.
Out of curiosity, Liam's a mate of yours. You were in that gym for a long time. You're still close with everyone for that gym.
I was in there Monday.
You were in there Monday, and you're going to be there again this week.
Maybe later on today.
Maybe later on
if
today.
these two want to go to the gym.
Dalton Smith earlier was quite vocal. You don't seem as hurt as some parties involved, but as a fan, does it kind of like aggravate you? Do you sit there and think, or are you kind of just a little bit with the sport, like fucking hell, here we go again? Like,
What are we talking about? The 12 rounds still? No.
you know, like you see the people on TalkSport, they say Benchel on this,
bear in
Frank
mind,
Warren that.
I can't lie. I do like both of them.
Who, Ben and Frank?
Ben and Liam. I'm talking about the fighters. I do like both of them, but the Still City and also the comments Ben made about arguably my best friend, Lyndon. You know what I mean? I'm kind of more on Liam's side for this one. But the fight was a rematch. It was obviously meant to be 10 rounds. Liam even says himself, well, I thought it was 10. They sent me a contract for 12, so sweet. Well, let's go do 12. It weren't until then it'll come out. What do you mean 10? My contract says 12, so I just thought you want to make it a 12-round fight as a headline, big fight, you know what I mean? But it's not about what conversations were. It's about what's written down on a piece of paper that everyone looked at, everyone read through, proofread, signed it, sent it off. Do you know what I mean? So,
Why do you think boxer haven't sent a contract?
what for the... Because they have to draw it up and get the permission, probably, for the money that they're going to have to pay them to change it.
It's been weeks. We're on fight week talking about it.
I know. Well, we're not 5 weeks yet.
Well, we kind of are.
Got one more week.
Of the fight. Fight week.
Yeah, but nothing 5 weeks started, though.
It's an interesting sport. Out of curiosity...
But yeah, I would go for 12 if it got all the way to the fight night. We're going for 12.
Out of curiosity, Ben Whittaker's been kind of... Obviously, he was very vocal throughout the start of his career, social media, everything. Since that Liam Cameron fight, he's not really been. The gloves are off. I don't know if you've watched it. I thought both come across okay. There's a little bit of comments about sort of maybe a little bit of arrogance or whatever towards Ben Whittaker. Still not really said much. Like you were referenced to earlier, he's not come out and said, all right, let's go and fight over 12. Why is this? Because we've gone from one extreme to the other, kind of.
I think you know the answer, really. I feel like when you're winning and you're the Olympian and all the promoters are trying to speak and sign you are, and then you're getting all the attention, and it's very easy to find the next sentence to say it and fully believe it and genuinely believe it as well. I think two things happened. I think he's struggled with any sort of setback, especially the negative spin of the setback. But I think what he didn't realise really is who he was actually fighting the first time in Liam Cameron, when Ben was probably getting to like junior ABA finals at these times. and not even winning. Because I can remember when he won, like the top dog, he was getting to like finals. He was always a good fighter. But Liam Cameron was winning senior ABA titles and travelling the world of England, and then turned pro. Didn't really have the best backing or the biggest promoter or anything, so sort of had a kind of fumbled career a little bit. But then since he's come back from the the sort of scandal of the non-performance enhancing drugs, longest ban ever, 4 years for recreational substance use, he hasn't stepped out of the gym. He's been at the gym 24/7. He trains the nursery as well. He fought Ben on the Saturday or whatever in Saudi. On the Tuesday, or he's doing the kids class, coaching the kids class, head coach. He gives his life, he gives everything to it. So not only was he a fantastic amateur, the most decorated, I think the most decorated amateur from Sheffield ever, I think, and there's been some good ones. Someone that's boxed since he was a kid. I just think they overlooked him, and not only that, the difference between Ben and Liam is, okay, Ben might look a lot more physically impressive, but he's a long-standing athlete, but still developing as a professional fighter. But Liam's got sort of that conditioning and the mindset and the belief in himself over 10, 12 rounds. He's been there, he's done it, he's so grateful and happy to just be back boxing, let alone now sort of having a career that he probably weren't even ever expecting to get, really, just through this one fight. He's sort of really riding a high right now, and there's a lot of belief for the Steel City Gym around Liam because he can really hit hard and he's really tough as well. And he's got much better footwork, I think, than Ben would ever give him credit for. So as soon as he was keeping up with him and switching southpaw and still hitting him, he's got the sort of Sheffield Ingle footwork. It's all from the same sort of, line of teaching. And yeah, I think it's a very hard fight for Ben. I do.
Who wins?
I do think Liam. I think he was way on the way to winning last time. And I can't lie, I'm not even trying to be controversial. Like I said, I do generally like Ben. I do generally like Ben, but if you watch that fight, the first one, and see anything other than a fighter that was looking for a way out and found a way out, then I don't know. I've been hurt, I've ruptured ankles, I've done a lot of things in a boxing ring. But you try. He never even tried to get up. He didn't try to move. He didn't try to see. He didn't. He laid down like he was flatlined. He didn't attempt to get up. And yeah, I think it was someone that was looking for a way out and found one. To be honest, that's just my opinion. I do really rate him as a tremendous talent in boxing. I just think you've got to pick the fights at the right time, and I think he really underrated Lyndon and really underrated Liam Cameron, so that he kind of lost the foresight of what level these have fought at and been fighting at and how long it took them to get there. And now he's kind of done what a lot of young prospects do, is they go down the wrong way and then they get locked in. But they get locked into the second fight against them. Do you know what I mean? Because once they've had so much build-up and then something happens, like a draw, they then get forced into, because they want to draw one expected then. So then they get forced into it, where otherwise it's right now like a career-defining fight already. It's a career-defining
take this fight.
I wouldn't have took it the first time.
Really?
I think people get too carried away. It's like, it's not that you're not good enough, it's that you need
the right step up.
You need 12, 13, 14, 15 fights to just go up through the rounds, to learn over 6, 8, 10, 12 rounds, and then get into the serious
fight. Could you argue, on the other hand, with his pedigree? And I actually think sometimes we're
No, because the better you get at 3 rounds, it doesn't make you for a good 12-round fighter. This, though.
I think sometimes as Brits we're guilty of kind of almost putting them in, like you say, I don't know, pushing them to 8-0 and then a jump up out of nowhere. But Ben Whittaker was a, Team GB silver medalist. If you look at in the
Doesn't
Olympics,
matter.
a
It doesn't
decorated
matter.
amateur.
It doesn't matter.
If you look at other amateurs from other countries, their careers are further on at this point. Do you not just think that maybe the matchmaking could have been a bit tougher before taking the jump to Liam? Because
Yeah, but
if
they
you
didn't
build
see
him
Liam
another
as a
4 or
jump.
5
They didn't.
fights,
They did not see Liam as a jump. They did not. Whoever's helping match him, whoever's helped picking his opponents, like we couldn't really believe it at Steel City when they took Benn. Like, look, Lyndon didn't just absolutely batter Liam or even beat him easy, really. It was about 6 rounds to 4, 7 rounds to 3, an absolute push for Lyndon. It was a close fight, like genuinely actually a close fight, and Liam's good, man, and he's tough and he's in shape. It's like, and he's over on it, and he always was a good fighter. He just had a stop and start, sort of blown all over, taking fights under preparation or not enough time or wrong weights. Like, he's had that, but I just think they didn't see it like that, and now they're backed into a corner with a better fighter than they originally had thought. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. I don't even want to name other examples, but it happens all the time. You see it. Prospect comes up, then they get, I don't know, a draw or just a close win, but no one thought they won. Like, and then they get locked into that fight again. Like, 2, 3, 4 pops, ding, 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 straight off my head of the last year. It's literally what happens every single time. Because what you're doing is, you're putting in fighters that were fantastic, phenomenal even, 3-round fighters, travelled the world as a 3-round fighter. Okay, I know it's easy from the outside looking in to just say, oh, well, a good amateur should make a good pro. Yeah, some of the time. You could maybe even say most of the time, maybe, but not all of the time, definitely not. And especially not if we don't let them get watered the right way. Now, you give the right prospect, which is someone that trains hard, someone's got a good mindset, someone that's got good physical ability, good fitness, good XYZ, good chin, good movement, good reactions. If you take a good example of an athlete, which is usually the good amateurs are usually the better ones of this, and then put them through the sort of the learning of becoming a top 8, 10, 12 round fighter, it's completely different. You're in and out in 9 minutes as an amateur. 9 minutes. Now, to be the best in the world, you have to fight on loads of different days. How many pros couldn't do that? Now, to be the best in the world, 9 minutes. How many times are the pros losing a fight 3 rounds in, and then are winning a fight 7 rounds in for the rest of it, knock them out? That happens all the time. All the time. It doesn't translate necessarily.
Just lastly on this topic, because we probably should move on and discuss some other topics in the world of boxing as a whole, but I mean, I imagine between us quietly confident this will be done and we will see it Sunday for 10
I can't believe
rounds.
we've spoken about this for so long.
No, but actually it's a great topic to discuss, and a lot of it is just you talking uninterrupted, I might add. If you're Ben Whittaker and you've been kind of quiet as it is, are you annoyed at Boxer here? Because it's, you know, like, for example, we'll use Johnny Fisher as an example. Stepped up against Dave Allen, got the victory. Some people thought he won it, some people thought he drew, some people thought he lost, right? All of a sudden, get stick, you're hype, you're or whatever. Ben's been experiencing the same. To then have this on top on fight week, will that affect him mentally? Will he be pissed off at Boxer?
Potentially, but I think he might be a little bit annoyed, but as long as it doesn't come to any detriment to him getting in the ring, getting the rounds that he wanted, and it won't really matter to him. If anything, it's just more.
Not saying you don't want it.
It's just more people speaking about the fight. If anything, more people have been focused on this 10-12 round than what happened in the first fight. Do you know what I mean? So it might have, in some ways, sort of taken off a little bit because it's a different talking point, and a talking point that really has no real
Nothing
involvement
really to
of
do
him.
with him. Yeah, that's
do you know
true.
what I mean? So in some ways, it's maybe not going to do that. I think Ben's the sort of fighter, though, with a chip on his shoulder. He's probably gone into himself more. He's probably serious up a bit more. He's probably thought, actually, let me humble myself.
Yes.
Let me apply myself. Let me not cut the corners that maybe I was potentially, not counting that many reps or doing that many sets or doing that many runs a week or whatever it might have been for his reality, I don't know. But if he goes in himself and applies himself the way what it's taken to get there, then he's going to give himself the best chance of coming back and doing what he's capable of. He's a very good fighter, and I don't think he'll be looking at it as like, he'll probably be looking at, in my opinion, if I put myself in his shoes, he'll probably be looking for the reasons as to why a performance like that came. And then sort of closing up all of that, okay? If he was focused too much on the media shoots and the modelling, the branding and the adverts and the interviews, if he was doing a lot of that, which he was, okay, let's cut that off. Let's focus on my reps, my training, my dieting, my sleep. If he's focused on all of that, then it completely makes sense.
He's also fully in camp now with Andy Lee.
Yeah, but it completely makes sense, like, because a performance like that, something like that happens, can do two things. It can make you or break you, and this is where you see, really,
a big 3 weeks in boxing coming up. Next week we have Chris Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn. Huge. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium sold out. Nice to have another stadium fight in England again. Touch with the weather holds off, because it's not looking good, Rev, at the minute. We need some of the clear skies and sun from the other week. What are you thinking a week away? Very rare do we see boxers go up 2 weight divisions. I've watched some stuff of the in-camp. Conor's eating very nicely, very comfortably. He's in a calorie surplus throughout camp. He's training vigorously, as Chris Eubank Jr will be. Chris he's chopped and changed trainers a lot. Kind of his own man, quite stubborn in his ways. What are the methods to victory for Conor Benn? Can he win next week?
I think he's underdog. I've made no secret in saying it. Conor has to make the fight rough. That's his style. He's got to pick his moments. He's got to be hard to hit. He's got to use his size disadvantages as an advantage. He's got to be the more small, compact target, harder to land clean on. Use which hopefully works out for him. Speed advantages with being smaller. He should be able to be more efficient in the power he's generating over time. Because there is some benefit just in a fight that don't usually always pay out as much as being the bigger man. But yeah, I also think he's got to do a good job at making Chris Eubank uncomfortable, and it can be done in a few ways. But if he times his punches of when he's going, then he can make Chris Eubank have something to think about at the right times. I think if the reach and the height advantage makes it quite easy for Chris to stand off, sort of pick his moments when to come in, and then pick what he's also doing when and as he gets there, I think it's going to be a really hard fight for Conor. I think if Chris can sort of use his levers, find some target, and not have had to do too much from the edge of range, then I think it's going to be a really easy night for Chris. Now, if Conor does a good job at either closing the right way and making it harder for Chris to really get his work off because it's so up close.
Conor has to make it ugly early doors, right?
Potentially, but that could lead to problems of, just trying to get close to a target and make it a target. I think if Conor sits off when he needs to and makes Chris think about punching first, then as Chris is stepping to punch, because he would have thought about it that little bit before, then Conor can already be set to throw and work.
Do you think Conor can stop him at 160?
I don't know. I mean, if it's the Conor that fought at 154, I think, against
Orozco and
the Mexican
Dobson
guy when I was there, then probably not. If I'm honest, he just didn't look the same ferocious punch that we'd seen at 147. He just didn't. So, but who knows? And I think a lot of people are saying how Chris Eubank Jr is finished because of a round they saw in his last fight or something.
What, against
a shot he took?
Yeah.
A shot he took. It's still professional boxing. Just because one shot landed, you felt a bit don't mean it's some fighters on the way up before they got to world levels got rocked hard by 6-round fighters. You know what I mean? It is the way it goes sometimes.
You probably the most emotional fight you had was the Bam fight. I don't necessarily know what I mean by that though. Just in terms of there was a bit of a needle, there was something going into it. This is emotional. This is, you know,
I don't think so.
Family.
Not Bam.
I think it's emotional.
I don't think the Bam fight.
No, but all right. What was the most emotional fight in your career? And when I say emotional, I mean like verbally, like
Ryan Farrig.
Huh?
Me and Ryan Farrig.
All right, let's use that as an example then.
Me and Ryan Farrig, 7 weeks every day, back and
That's
forth,
what I'm
back and
saying.
forth, back and forth.
Right.
We're mates now.
Yeah, I know. But my point is, that's how these lot are. Eubank acts very nonchalant, whatever. Conor's very much the aggressor, as the fathers were. Add that family pressure on top, whatever. That will all play into their minds on fight week, right?
Yeah, potentially it's the size, but there's probably also going to be a big sort of underlying. Well, I'm getting 10 million, so it don't really matter. You know what I mean?
What's that?
There's going to be an underlying sense of, well, no matter what happens, I'm getting paid 10 million.
Do you think?
Do I think? Of
I don't know. I'm
course.
not a fighter, innit? Would you
Of
think?
course. Nah, do you know? Because you know what? I can't lie. Yeah, the way boxing is like. You can't lose those fights on the way up when it's kind of for nothing, because that's kind of like catastrophic. But it gets to a certain level of your career where it's like, well, I gotta take this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing that's gonna be. I
If
gotta take
Eubank loses,
this.
retires, secures the bag, carries on living his glamour
And if
lifestyle.
Conor loses, I was too small for him when I really, you know what I mean? Then fight Harlem.
It's more of an ego one, isn't it?
If Conor loses, he should fight Harlem straight away. As soon as possible and make as much millions again as you can.
Do you not think it's... And like Conor would never say this, obviously, because you know it's the Ben legacy. But like it's kind of easier for Conor to take in terms of like he's gone 2 divisions up, he can move back down. He wants a world title at £147 as the Harlem Eubank fight, etc. Whereas like you kind of feel like at 35, 36 years of age, if Junior loses, that's it up, right? That's kind of the way he's going to be remembered. But he's so nonchalant, I can't quite get a grips of him.
I mean, he's a professional fighter, man. He's a prize fighter. Like, no matter how you build it up or dress it up, or if more thousands turn up, you still got to do the same thing. You still got to go through the same process. Camp still got to come. Fight week's going to start. Public workout, press conference, weigh-in, fight night. It's still the same process. So anytime we fight anyone, it's a bit of like a, you know, anything could happen here. Even in the fights that from the outside looking, oh, he'll win that. Oh, and he won that. See, I told you to win that. Yeah, but he still had to do like a 10-week camp, get in the ring and actually get punched in the face and work like. Do you know what I mean? But that's very easily, quickly overlooked. So he's still gonna have to do it. He's still gonna have to go through. He's still gonna have to apply himself the same way. And I think he's just kind of doing that. He's being the villain a little bit. He's selling the fight a little bit. Not too much. It's not my responsibility. You know what I mean?
Just out of curiosity, I'd ask you this off camera, and this is a bit of an off-camera question that I'm doing on the record because we're mates and we're chatting shit. You ever spoke to Chris much? Like, I'm quite curious to. I've only ever had one small interaction with him, and it was in Riyadh, and he come over to me and Oscar and just kind of shook our hands, chatted with us. I don't think he knew who we were, but just asked us where was nearby that we could go and get food, and I kind of thought. But everyone I speak to doesn't really know him. You know, even the people around him, I don't seem to know too much. Do you know anything about him? Do you have any interactions you can share?
Nah, not really.
That's what I mean, bro. I don't think anyone does.
And I think he's sick for that.
Master of nonchalant. I rate it.
Nah, because it's like
nonchalant final boss.
I've said hello. We've said hello to each other a couple of times.
But no one's got like a story about going out with him or.
Nah, but I feel like he's just on his own sort of thing, I think. And yeah, it is. It's nonchalance, I guess. Just not trying to be busy, not trying to be around people. Like, you got to remember though, he comes from good lineage, man. His dad was a gentleman. You know what I mean? That was his whole thing.
Is it sad if his old man won't be there next week?
Potentially. I saw them at Harlem Eubank's fight. That was really nice.
Spoke.
That was really nice. I'm a massive fan of his dad. Like, I was always, even though this happened before my time, I was always Chris Eubank. not Nigel Benn. I don't know why. I had no like prop in, or I had no opinion, someone else's opinion. It was just.
But that's boxing, right? You just get that vibe.
It was just. I just thought we were sick.
Eubank Senior is a proper bit.
Legend. Yeah, bit of me in it.
That's what I'm saying.
Really, a bit of me.
That is you.
I think Nigel Benn was a bit much. You know what I mean? You know, all of that, like, no, because the way I see it, it's like...
You're a stoner, innit? You're quite a relaxed guy.
Wow. Allegedly. What do you mean? Little snitches get stitches.
That's cap, like you've not fucking...
But, do you know what my thing is? I like the relaxed ones that do it with like a sort of laugh and a smirk, and then it only sort of gets there when it's going back and forth. You know, like the over the top all the time. Because as soon as the cameras go off, they're coming off and they go, "Oh, did you think that was alright?" Yeah, like all that. So it just that to me is the more disingenuous one. Do you know what I mean? The sort of angry Aggie all the time, because the one that really is doesn't really want to even get interviewed. Do you know what I mean, Charlie?
Although
the one that really is like that doesn't even really want to get interviewed, let alone come in here doing a 20-minute interview or being angry for 20 minutes.
I think he is now, but like people have told me that in itself kind of was a bit of a different persona. Like,
of course it was. It was his public image and his perception. Like I remember watching something. Oh my God, it's gonna kill me. Who's that really, really famous, like the most famous documentary guy? Oh my God.
Tell me what it's about and I can search it up.
No, it's Chris Eubank. No, Louis Theroux.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Louis Theroux one from years ago? Like, it has such a good insight as to like his character. He just wanted to be accepted through fighting, and his efforts in the boxing ring and his code of conduct. He wanted to be a positive role model. He wanted to be a man of the people.
Do you not think, regardless of ability, it's a bit of a shame that we didn't see like more of that at the forefront? Like, while Chris Eubank Jr was, I don't want to say shit hot, but like when he was younger, made more of it and being that guy. Because you look at even just a clip of him in his old man or goggle box. Would you like a sweetie?
Yeah, but what I liked about Chris Eubank Jr. is he never really tried being the perfect role model. He kind of paved his own...
Bit of a villain?
A little bit of a villain, but maybe more of like an unapologetic ego, I think. Like, he would say something with conviction, and he'd really mean it, and he didn't care if you like laughed at him.
What the repercussions were.
Yeah.
Look at the whole like press conference for the Saudi show.
But with like when like back in the day calling like Golovkin and that, and he probably generally would, like, Chris Eubank would fight people though. One thing we have never really said about Chris Eubank Jr. is, we can't get him in a boxing ring against someone good. Like, he will always fight someone decent. He's gone again and again and against someone decent, and any time he's lost, for me, has been at a very good level. So I think Chris Eubank just operated at a much higher level in his professional career than Conor Benn has.
Couple more from me. Tyson Fury's been quite vocal on social media.
Forget all of that.
I know, but
I know. I've got nothing to do with him.
Totally agree with you.
I'm in fight week for Giorgio, Visioli.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We'll get onto that.
There's a few other things.
We'll get onto that.
That's going on.
We'll get onto that.
What can I say about Tyson? He's retired, man.
Is he though?
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
Okay then.
Ooh.
There's heavyweights, man.
Someone's not had their coffee.
I don't drink coffee.
Exactly.
Nah, but it's like I said, it's Giorgio fight week in a fantastic fight against Kane Baker, and you're asking me about Tyson Fury, maybe or maybe not for the umpteenth time coming out of retirement, Charlie. I don't care.
I actually do.
I don't care.
I do agree with you.
I'd love him to fight again. If
but
he doesn't,
we are
I don't
also
care.
40 minutes into a very long interview
Exactly.
where we will cover. We've done 2 topics in 40 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. And now this is the third one. It's mind blowing.
Gut feeling: do we ever see Fury AJ? I think it's a travesty for British boxing if we don't. Do you not? Not going to get an answer on anything Fury AJ related.
If they fight, they both make 100, 150 mil or something. Go on, the boys.
Secure the bag.
Yeah, like, if I was either one of them, I would have fought twice against each other already. So how they haven't, it's up to them. So I don't know.
Boxing politics.
There's the only two people in this world that have made this fight not happen is them two. Like, and everyone else that wants to get paid because of, like, they haven't found enough zeros to fight, and we're still asking about it. I like both of them. It's just
no, I agree with you.
It's a head burner for me. The heavyweight division. It is a head burner.
I was speaking to Dalton Smith earlier. I said, is it hard to stay focused in fights like this when you know that the potential of fighting for that green and gold strap is just there? He said, the noise comes in a little bit, but you don't think about it too much. With that, there was a lot of sort of, not controversy, but obviously the opponent that the EBU gave him last fight, he bashed him about in a round. People are kind of saying similar about his opponent this Saturday. I mean, your thoughts on that whole debacle?
He's been trying to get, the biggest fight out there for a couple of years. That's not happened. He's been building and winning titles in his own right, and he's won 13 out of 17 fights by knockout. He's progressed through the levels, probably at the right time. Look good doing it at everyone where, people are saying, but we need to see him in a 50-50 fight. My question is, well, who is a 50-50 fight? Like, think of what level you're thinking about, really, when we're talking about 50-50 fight, Dalton. Because anyone at all these other levels that he's shown, he's gone straight through a lot of them.
Similar to your reaction with the Fury-Usyk fight. I didn't really ask him so much about the Azim fight, but more just that kind of period in his career, reflecting back where he was a free agent. There were comments from Ben Shalom, whatever, all the back and forth. I said, when you can make that fight a British boxing blockbuster, get Dalton a world title, get Adam a world title, is it not a waste if we were to see it in the next 6 months?
I don't think so.
It'd still be a great fight, but do you not think it would be smaller than it could be?
Tomorrow's not promised, man.
That's deep.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Deep.
Both fighters might not get there. How many times are we waiting for a fight and neither fighters get there? One fighter might get there, they both get there, and now there's another problem. Just fight, man. Fight each other again on the way down, on the way up. Fight the biggest fight now. Once you start putting belts around your waist and that, come on, boys, what are we talking about?
Kane have gloves will travel Baker. Fights your man Giorgio Visioli, who is shit hot.
Yeah.
He's really, really, really good.
It's crazy. It's like a fighter that's shit hot versus a fighter that's just shit. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're saying?
Well, Kane made a little, you know what I mean? And he started the...
Has he? I like Kane, man.
I would love a little build up for Giorgio, though.
Isn't it? Yeah, Kane's just, that's what I'm saying. Kane's just sick for that sort of thing. I have to rate Kane for that.
Nah, I do like Kane.
If you want someone to come in and you have a prospect like Giorgio, you kind of like, Kane's a great person, will talk a good game.
No, I rate Kane. I like how he's carved out a boxing career and became probably one of the most well-known fighters of a 6-8 round fight
level, yeah.
that you're really gonna get. I think he's done a fantastic job at getting himself an organic career and finding his level in boxing. One thing I will say though is he's been in the ring against quite a few decent prospects. I don't think he's been in the ring against many special people like Giorgio, if I'm honest. I think Giorgio is next level. I really do. And I think the performance Giorgio puts in on a Saturday will have some people scratching their heads about certain things. I really am expecting a big performance from Giorgio. I think he's phenomenal.
With Giorgio, we're talking about the kind of progression of fighters' careers and stuff like that on the whole Whittaker-Cameron stuff. A win here. It's a good domestic fight. Hopefully there's a bit of needle and build up in the press conference to kind of give him that, I don't know, reception on a bit of a more of a social media side, backing himself, not just fighting, I don't know, your Nicaraguan who's flown in, who's tough and can take a punch or whatever. What's the moving process like after this? I always think in my eyes, right, how far is he from English level? When do you kind of envision the British and European levels to be? How far away? Because I know also with your fighters, and I admire this, you're very much let them take their time.
Yeah, obviously it's horses for courses. It depends on the fight. It depends on their career. It depends on their ambitions, what they want out of boxing, what they want out of life. Everything needs to be accounted for. Now, Giorgio turned 22 years old yesterday. He is a baby. He started boxing at 15 years old.
Was he 15?
15 years old. Now, okay, he was a 10-year something kickboxer. 17 times world champion, probably. I don't know.
4 million time world champion.
Yeah, they usually are at kickboxing. Point scoring kickboxer, and he changed discipline at 15. He didn't box before that, and so he's been boxing in his 7th year or something. And like I said, he's a baby. He is coming and showing a level of maturity far beyond his years. He's showing spitefulness, reaction, speed, decision making, IQ, fitness, aggression. He's showing out a lot, in my opinion, and delivering it aesthetically where you cannot watch him and be anything but entertained and impressed. I think. I don't know what everyone sees though, because
I think people agree.
Yeah, but the reason why I question is because did you know that Giorgio was the hardest I've ever known a fighter, especially a 2 times ABA champion, to get a professional boxing coach? All I'm saying is there's more than one as well. Boxing coaches that every time he fights is absolutely kicking themselves because they weren't interested. How crazy is that now? Fast forward 14 months, 16 months. And the Giorgio that we're looking at.
And what a camp he's at, by the way. He's been out in Vegas with Johnny Fisher.
Yeah, he's been over in Vegas, Johnny Fisher. He's been up in Scotland, sparring Lee McGregor as well. Yeah, honestly, it's like a little personal joke with me and the fighters. If you could have 10 Giorgios, you'd be happy. We're saying to young Leo, he's an excited one. Leo, he's an excitable one. But all I'm saying is, look, just do what Giorgio did. But if you're stuck, just think, what would Giorgio do?
Matchroom put out a little hint about a signing. You did sign Leo Atang on a management basis alongside Anto February time. We were in Manchester when that all went down. Is he signing with Matchroom Boxing?
There's no concrete.
So you're saying the contract hasn't been signed?
To my knowledge, there's no concrete direction of where Leo's starting his professional boxing career, and I can't wait. I can't wait until that day comes, because he's got itchy knuckles. He's just going through the process. But like I explained to him when we first sat down and spoke, this process takes time. It don't just happen overnight. A lot of interest for Leo Atang. A lot of interest, genuinely. Without going too much into it, conversations I've not really seen happen before for an amateur to professional. Like genuinely, very, 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 very exciting times for the man, and what a good lad as well Leo is.
A fantastic 50 minutes banked, Sonny Edwards. I don't even think our small talk shows are that long. So if you've sat through this long, comment something, and myself and Sonny will buy you a pint.
I can't believe.
Give them a comment of comment.
No one's gonna sit there for 50 minutes and listen to
me.
Give
them something. Give them
25 minutes of Ben Whittaker 12-round, 10-round talk. Then what was the next topic?
Give them something to put in, and if they
I'm bullet pointing it.
If you made it, give a keyword, and if it's in the comments.
If you made it this far,
put something proper rogue.
If you made it this far, right?
Drop a hairline joke in the comments.
No. If you make it this far, yeah, comment Charlie Parsons is a weirdo. and you might have a chance to win a pink kind of stained stone hoodie that had to get taken off in filming today because it's got
I was
a massive
too embarrassed about the
shit
stain
right down the middle of it.
I thought my mum had got it out as well. That's peak.
Do
Big
you,
up Mrs.
do you not have an
Parsons'
iron
efforts.
in your house?
No, I don't know how to iron, mate.
No, but do you not have one in the
Also,
whole
let's not
house?
talk about fucking... I don't see no irons in here, geez.
No, but this is a house that's been moved out of, Charlie. No one's living here.
That doesn't mean shit.
No one's living here. This is just like...
It's just there.
This is my
Some life, yeah.
second house.
You just got a house that you come to just to get away from everyone else.
to when people want to interview me.
Yeah, you come just lie here and lock
I bring them
the
to the
doors.
interview house, you know.
Interview house.
I won't take them
How
to
many
where my
people have done
where my
interviews
kids.
in this house?
A few actually.
Really?
A few.
Go on, drop some names.
Rob Tevitt. Boxing Media. Probably at some point Cougs.
Glad to see the Stomping Ground have made the list.
I think, has Oscar been here?
No, you done a long old sit down in your gaff in Birmingham.
So yeah, the Stomping Ground now. It's a bit of a slut house, really, isn't it?
Well, right, YouTube Media slut house. I was thinking, whoa.
YouTube Media slut house.
But we are all sluts, though, aren't we?
Yeah, you lot are in it.
Proper whores, bruv.
You're worse than sluts, really.
Whores.
Yeah. You're actually worse.
It's good to acknowledge it, do you not think?
Yeah.
Acknowledgement's good.
Because you know, really, like, if you actually think about what you are, like, if you actually really, like, take away the sensitivity of, like, hurting people's feelings because of what they're doing.
Because you've done that a load of times.
I don't mean to.
But
if we take away that, what are you? You're kind of like...
Well, I always said I'm not a
You're
journalist,
kind of
I'm
like
just a bit of a dickhead with a
content
camera.
creating parasites
Yeah.
that just sniff around whatever's hot.
Clickbait.
And the moment that you can potentially get your lens on something that will equal clicks and money on the YouTube and interwebs and all those places, you do it. And like, hey, like, if you have friends, you might filter out certain things, but if someone's not your friend, you're not really going to be asked, and it's just going out, you know what I mean? So, and it kind of anyone can do it as well, really, you know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
So it is...
I can't dispute it.
That's kind of what
I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just like you just hover around with that lens, and then
Also got to take
if
the
it
opportunities
captures
that are given to you
anything.
in life.
huh?
Also got to take the opportunities that are given in life.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying. I'm saying if we're taking it away from that, and
I agree.
like, because I get that. I'm just talking about boxing happens, a ring happens, then they have like.
He said this, she said that.
Originally, there was
This
just like the
person
camera
blasts
on the.
that person.
Originally, there was just like the photographers, and then there was the photographer and the video for the broadcast, and then at some point, somewhere,
We came in.
after like
Big up
the
Coogan.
news started coming,
Big up Coogan.
at some point, way after that, then you lot just popped out of the ground and it attached.
Coogan is the pioneer on that one. And I have to respect him.
No,
for it.
but do you know one thing I'll say about, as much as you say that, in the UK, yeah, but Eli Setback was going before Coogan was.
Ellie Setback was.
Yeah, and I only know that because he'd interviewed my dad in Repton. There
Interviewed
wasn't
your dad?
my dad,
Really? Mm-hmm. That's cool.
my brother's dad as well.
Obviously.
Just in case,
Really?
because I said my dad, people might be thinking, oh no, not you. I'm talking about the
Well,
viewers.
you said they're not still watching.
Yeah, no,
So
they
this is
tuned off
pointless chat.
40 minutes ago. But yeah, Eli Setback came to the Repton years before IFL was a thing.
Sonny Edwards. Nice one, geezer. Thank you very much for your time. Final message to the people down the lens. You give them a point and look really angry for my thumbnail, please.
Do what?
Just like for the thumbnail.
Actually, I don't want you to put this interview out.
What?
I don't want you to put this interview out.
Calm.
I don't want you to put this interview out.
Calm.
I just wasted your time.
It's not really though, is it?
Yeah.
What else would I be doing? Can't check into my hotel. till
Getting an interview that you could post out.
four. Let's get
If
that
you,
anyway.
if all I'm saying is, look, I'm looking down the camera. If this ever
There's
sees
my
the light,
thumbnail,
if this ever sees the light of day, I'm invoicing the Stomping Ground for £10,000, and by uploading it, they're agreeing to my terms.
I'll cut that out. Nice one, Sonny Edwards. Thank you very much for your time.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr versus Benn. 30 years of rivalry and hatred.
I do hate him.
All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr versus Benn, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.